Once, deep in the heart of the Colorado wilderness, there was a forest known as Whispering Pines. Locals rarely entered it, especially at night, for there were stories, old as time, about strange happenings within its depths. Hunters, campers, and hikers all claimed they heard voices, soft whispers that seemed to come from the trees themselves, and the chilling feeling that something was always watching. A group of friends, Emily, Jack, Sarah, and Mike, decided to ignore the warnings and camp in Whispering Pines. They wanted a thrill, and had all laughed off the legends as just stories to keep kids from wandering too far. The first day was uneventful. They set up camp, gathered firewood, and shared ghost stories, poking fun at the local legends. But as night fell, an eerie silence blanketed the forest. Even the usual sounds of crickets and night birds faded into an oppressive quiet. Emily was the first to notice the whispers. She thought it was just her imagination, until she saw Sarah staring into the darkness, wide-eyed and pale. "Did you hear that?" Sarah whispered. Jack and Mike laughed, but Emily shivered. She strained her ears, and then she heard it, soft, hissing voices that seemed to rise from the ground, winding their way up through the trees. The words were unintelligible, but the tone was unmistakably angry, filled with hatred. "Let's go back," Emily said, but the others brushed it off. They decided to explore deeper into the forest the next day, but as they ventured farther, a feeling of dread grew stronger. The trees seemed to twist and lean towards them, branches clawing at their clothing, and the air grew thick with a rotting, earthy smell. They tried to laugh it off, but no one could ignore the feeling that they were not alone. That night, the whispers grew louder. It was no longer a distant murmur, but a chorus of voices surrounding their camp, chanting words they couldn't understand. The fire flickered, casting strange shadows, and then one by one the flames began to dim, as if something were sucking the life out of them. Suddenly, Mike gasped. "Look!" They turned to see a figure in the distance, a tall, shadowy shape standing just beyond the light of their dying fire. Its eyes gleamed with an unnatural brightness, and its body seemed to blend with the shadows of the forest. When it took a step toward them, the whispering voices crescendoed into an agonizing scream. Panicking, they grabbed their flashlights and began running back toward the trailhead. But no matter how far they ran, they seemed to end up back in the same clearing, facing the same fire pit and the same figure, watching from the shadows. As dawn finally broke, the forest was silent again, but one of them was missing. Emily was gone, vanished without a trace. No one saw her leave, no one heard a sound. When the rangers found the remaining 3 friends the next day, they were incoherent, rambling about the shadows that moved and the whispers that beckoned them into the forest. Emily was never found. Her friends left Colorado, but they claimed they could still hear the whispers, calling them back every night in their dreams. And sometimes when the wind blew just right, the people of Colorado could hear them too.